The Netherlands, a project by Len Sassaman. Why the Netherlands? I'm Len Sassaman, and for this project, I chose the Netherlands. So, getting around there and communicating with people would be pretty easy because everyone speaks English. About 30% of Amsterdam's population
is composed of foreigners, so it's like a melting pot. You get to experience like a lot of different walks of life, a lot of different cultures there. It's a very big city and, well, country for that matter, for like the arts. A lot of artists came from there, like Rembrandt and Van Gogh. The Van Gogh Museum is there, and he's one of my favorite artists, so I'd want to go check that out.
Overall, I just think the country is run really well. It looks like the baseline quality of life is pretty high, and I feel like that should just be like the main objective for any country.
So, the Netherlands is located in northwestern Europe. It borders Belgium, Germany, and the North Sea. As an area of 41,543 square kilometers, a population size of 17.28 million. The official language is Dutch, and Netherlands means lowlands. So the country is divided into 12 provinces. The capital is Amsterdam in North Holland. Other prominent cities include Rotterdam in South Holland, The Hague in South Holland, Utrecht in Utrecht, and Newark Liberty International Airport is fairly close to my house. They offer round trips to Amsterdam starting at $493. The euro goes for about $1.20 right now, and no visa is required for stays under 90 days or 3 months. So the GDP is 913.7 billion. The GDP per capita is 56,489. This country has the highest concentration of museums in the world, and it's the birthplace of Rembrandt and Van Gogh, as well as the microscope, telescope, and thermometer. So notable places that you'd probably want to check out if you went to the Netherlands are the Van Gogh Museum, which has a lot of his work. Uh, the Red Light District is a very well-known spot in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. It's kind of internationally known for its coffee shops and brothels and clubs and uh, extraordinary nightlife, let's say. So speaking of coffee shops, not to be confused with coffee shops. Um, Coffee shops are stores in Amsterdam that have the legal qualifications to sell marijuana. So after that, you can stop at De Haar Castle, which is the biggest and most luxurious castle in Amsterdam. And then you can check out the countless parks and bike paths. And I got to tell you, Netherlands is known for its just beautiful tulip fields. So keep your eyes peeled. The Netherlands has a temperate marine climate, so cool summers, mild winters. But what I hear a lot of the locals complain about is the weather. Apparently, the weather is always just really bad there and not extraordinarily pleasant. But in April, spring, and like the warmer months, it's really pretty. The flowers are all blooming. But in the winter, the weather can change like 3 times in a day. It'll be like bright and sunny in the morning, then raining in the afternoon, and then like snowing at night. So it's really all over the place. The terrain is mostly coastal lowland, some hills in the southeast. So the Netherlands is very, very flat. So a lot of people get around by bike, and that's actually the most common form of transportation in the Netherlands. Uh, they use about 55.1% of their land for farming, 10.8 are forests, and the other 34.1% is used for other purposes. So about the Dutch culture, they're very blunt conversationalists. They're not big on small talk. They pretty much speak their mind, tell it how it is. If you ask them a question like, do you like my haircut? If they don't like it, for the sake of the conversation, they won't just entertain you and say like, oh yeah, it looks great. Like they'll say like, oh no, like that doesn't suit you. That's kind of dumb. So it's kind of refreshing to not have to like sugarcoat anything and just like get stuff the way it is. Yeah, because their country is so flat, they're always biking, and they have a variety of different bags that they usually use for shopping that just like attach to the bike, and the bike is kind of like built into their culture. They do a 3-point kiss when like departing a close friend or loved one, so it'll go from one cheek to the other cheek and then back to the original cheek. They're very big about agendas and itineraries, so they'll plan like everything out weeks and months in advance, and they'll just have this big logbook of like everything they have to do for like the next series of days. And that seems to be a thing that they all do. They all just keep really tight schedules in the Netherlands and abide by them pretty well. So even if you want to see a friend, like it's kind of unheard of to just not show up on their door and kind of expect to see them. Like if you want to see them, you'll call them and then let that be known and set up an appointment however many weeks or days out. So at birthday parties or other functions, everyone's seated in a circle, which is kind of weird uh, based on our Western customs, but it's a very like inclusive tradition and makes everyone feel like one, I guess. They have a very large immigrant population, and they're extremely tolerant of all cultures. As you can see, there's clogs up there. Those are like traditional wooden Dutch shoes. There's windmills all over the country. So there's a windmill up top. As you can see, the flag of the Netherlands is in the top left corner. Soccer is big there, as it is in all of Europe. So there's a soccer ball. There's a tulip there because the country is stemming literally with tulips in the spring. There's a marijuana leaf because the country is a large exporter, and they just have a big weed industry. There's cheese there because cheese is also very important, and as you can see, like they have the paintbrush there to kind of show how influential and important art culture is to the Netherlands. The bike made it on there. So the Dutch take great pride in their cultural heritage. Like I said, the inventors and artists that came before. So some popular Dutch cuisine includes bitterballen, which are like these deep fried dough balls. Puffertjes, which are like these tiny little fluffier pancakes. Yeah, they're like tinier pancakes essentially. Sometimes you put like powdered sugar on them. And then zoetdrop or dubbelzoetdrop, which are salty and double salty black licorice pieces. So I compared the Netherlands to France, the United States, and the United Kingdom. I compared it to the United States because that's where I'm from. That's where you guys are from, obviously. But I put France and the United Kingdom on here because they're both about an hour away from Amsterdam by plane. And I was kind of surprised that the indulgence scores were pretty similar across the board with the exception of France. because the Netherlands kind of has like this big reputation for its indulgence culture in the red light district. So I was very shocked to see that it actually was less indulgent than the United Kingdom and at the same level as we are. They have a very high individualism score, but as do all these other countries. Probably the most noticeable score that they have on here would be the masculinity score, which is very low. So they're definitely a feminine culture. So Amsterdam is a hotspot for international youth culture despite the graying population. If you take a look at this chart here, you can see that in all senses, it looks like the Netherlands should be experiencing a shrinking population, especially in the youth culture, but Amsterdam is still like a thriving place for international tourists from all over, especially younger tourists. Marijuana, prostitution, and euthanasia are all legal in Amsterdam, or all of the Netherlands, I should say. So the study abroad program I looked into was called WOLF. That's the Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. So like I said, $493 for the round flight from Newark Liberty International Airport to Amsterdam Airport. Schiphol. Housing is free. So when you sign up for this program, you apply to different farms. You find one that interests you or looks like it kind of like fits, like you're what they're looking for. You have the qualifications that they're looking for, because sometimes they will be looking for specific things. But sometimes it's as simple as like they just want to give people the opportunity to come like learn farming. But you go, you research what farm you want to work on, you pick one out, you talk to the owner, and if you get approved, you fly out. They provide you housing, and they provide you food, and oftentimes they'll have bikes on the premises that you can kind of borrow to use to get around. So I like this program because I think that organic farming and sustainable farming really needs to take off and gain more appreciation. So I think it's great that this program offers that and kind of stresses the importance of that, while also making it really affordable for young people to travel all over the world. So as part of this program, I would be working on a farm for about half the day, and then I would have the other half of the day to more or less hop on a bike and explore the Netherlands. So I would be very excited about this program. I'm really excited to check out all the different parks and museums that would be there. I was really shocked at how inexpensive the trip would end up being. The study abroad program, there's no money exchanged between yourself and the person whose farm you'd be working on. You just pay for like your airfare, and they take care of food on the premises and housing. So really, I would only need money for when I'd go to the city. And transportation would largely be by bike, so I really wouldn't be spending anything as far as like public transportation or like gas if I were driving. One thing that would be really inconvenient is the Dutch are really, they keep strict schedules and carry around like an agenda or a diary, and you have to make appointments to see people like weeks out. And I'm a very spontaneous, like, hey, are you around person? So as far as like planning goes, it would be kind of hard to get used to their system, but it would be manageable. Thank you for watching.